After the ball is over, after the skein is done, after the die lot's finished, and you are short just one, many a knitter has made a tearful and desperate call, pleading with their local yarn shop, go after that ball.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 598. Today is Wednesday, May 1st, 2024, as we are recording. My name is Marlisha, also known as Lady Fernico.
Tali, also known as Franciscan Gypsy.
We want to welcome all new and returning viewers to the Fun in the Woman Cave. If you're new, as always, we're glad to have you with us. If you are returning, we are very happy to see you back. If you are new or returning but in the shadows and you'd like to become more official, please feel free to tap the little subscribe button somewhere below the video. And if you want to not get all notifications, you want to kind of make sure your notifications are according to your specifications, a little bell, and you can tap that and you'll get a drop down menu that says all notifications, some notifications, or none, and you can tap one of those. If you want to take part in the alongs and the banter and chatter, whatever else that happens, it happens over in our home group, which is phnpodcast.freeforums.net, and that also is in the little description box below the video. Okay, I need something to drink because I'm just dry today.
And we know that you go first anyway, because I only have one project.
I am drinking Okito. It's a fandom blend from Adagio, and I don't have the tin with me. It's in the other room. I'm not going to go get it, but it's in my Autumn Leaves mug because that's what I've been using. It's a double-walled Adagio mug with a lid.
And then I'm also doing an Adagio fandom blend. This is Breakfast at Bag End. And I have been using my Keep Calm and Use Your Little Gray Cells Mon Ami mug. It's kind of the perfect size for what I need right now.
So 14 ounces, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
because sometimes the other ones are a little bit too big. Mm-hmm. And then these just aren't quite what I want either. So this is like that right in the middle. It's really nice.
These are good for me because sometimes I never thought I'd be a 3 tea person a day, but sometimes I am. And this makes it so I don't have quite as much sugar as I would have if I had 3 cups of 14 to 16 ounces.
With fatigue, it's rare that I use I drink more than 1 cup of tea a day. So
it seems that with the stuff I've been doing lately, I get 2 in. Maybe sometimes I only get the 1 at breakfast, but usually I get 2.
Usually if we have tea, if we're together, you usually get the second.
But not always. On Saturday and Sunday, sometimes.
Well, we don't usually.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And Friday, sometimes I don't either. It just depends.
Yeah, because Friday we're not usually together.
I like to have tea when I'm doing my bills, so I try to have it on Friday when I'm doing the bills. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We have 2 alongs that are going on right now. Oh, first of all the prizes are out. And I already heard from at least one person who was very happy with her prize. Very surprised at the size of it. Rena. Rena is my tea depository. So I send her things so she can taste it. And she got a rather large package. So I hope she enjoys that. She does so much for the group.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, thank you to everybody who participated in those alongs, and we are very excited about the people who are participating in the current alongs. Autism awareness started in April, so we are 1/3 of the way through it now that we're in May. Yes, it is May 1st. Rabbit.
And actually, coincidentally, I was just having a conversation online. There's a whole bunch of people having a conversation online about autism and how a lot of people tend to self-diagnose. The conversation came up because someone who really just has an attitude problem had self-diagnosed autism. When they were in their interview, when they were asked if they'd gotten a diagnosis, they gave an evasive answer like, well, there is a diagnosis. And later on when they're on live, they're like, no, I didn't get a diagnosis. It costs I'm not going to spend $10K on that. And you don't need it as an adult anyway. And in the conversation down there, it's like, where does this $10K number come from? And then the other people are just like, yeah, you absolutely can get a diagnosis as an adult. And the point that I've wanted to make as well is part of the reason why it's important to get a diagnosis, besides the fact that it's a terrible idea to just diagnose yourself. It's always going to seem more extreme to you. And right now, autism is one of those kind of like trendy things where everybody wants...
It's the cool thing.
It's a cool thing. And also people are using it as an excuse for bad behavior. Because they look at people like Sheldon, who is supposedly supposed to reflect autistic behavior, which he really doesn't.
No, the one, if anybody...
He reflects bad behavior.
If anyone has ever seen the show Alphas, there was a young man on there who did a very good job portraying an autistic, Asperger's kind of person.
And the character's name is Gary.
Gary, yeah, very, very good.
And then we discussed Monk as well.
Monk also is very well done.
Even though OCD is the condition that usually gets focused on for him, you can see with the social interactions that he does have trouble socially. But it's not in this arrogant way that people seem to think that autism is.
I get annoyed because I know people with autism, obviously, and Asperger's. For those of you who don't know me, I shouldn't say obviously. My daughter has Asperger's and autism.
Not this one.
no, she has other problems. Not quite sure all her problems. But anyway, Davina has, autistic spectrum. She's autistic spectrum along with developmental delays and other things, including OCD.
Yeah.
And she is not, as a whole, rude or, just entitled or anything like that. I mean, she's not. And to say that, I'm autistic or Asperger's or under that umbrella and that excuses my rude behavior. No, it doesn't. Yes, it makes it more difficult, and yes, you're going to be more, it's going to be more difficult for you to know what to do, but on purpose to be rude? No.
Well, as it was pointed out in the video that was critiquing this behavior, the commentator said, if you looked at the way this particular person who claimed autism behaves, it was almost like they were imitating Sheldon. And it's like, well, that's not real autism. I'm sorry. That is this kind of cool, like, they did this for a while, or geniuses, like people like House, when they did the show Sherlock for Holmes, there's these behaviors where it's rude people who have no social skills. And then they're like, oh, this is autistic.
It's not necessarily autistic. That's just, their social deficiencies, not so much because they're autistic, and although they did think that Einstein might have had Asperger's or something, or some kind of learning disability, but they are so focused on something that everything else goes through. It's like Holmes saying, well, I don't need to know if there's 8, 9, 10, or 15 planets, because that takes space up that I can put something else that's important.
Right, and that's real Holmes, whereas the Sherlock, it was more of this actual, I'm just a rude, nasty person.
Right.
But
Downey Jr. didn't play him that way.
No, this was the TV show
that was, the show,
that was in the modern age.
Well, that was
Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch, yeah.
But one of the things why it's important to get diagnosed, like I said, people use it to excuse bad behavior. I'm also not a fan of self-diagnosis for things anyway. But there are tests that you had to go through to rule out other diagnoses. If you just hone in on what you like or what you think is going to be the diagnosis, it doesn't help you.
Yeah, and you also have a tendency to see what you want to see.
Exactly, and you need to have other eyes on it, professional eyes on it.
And I say you, and she says you, all inclusive, including us.
Yes. Well, I know that for personal experience from the medical end, I initially got diagnosed with one thing, and there was a little bit of, with my cardiac doctor, there was a little bit of tunnel vision for that. She didn't do what she needed to do, which is that first diagnosis should have been a rule-out diagnosis. You weren't supposed to jump to inappropriate sinus tach as a diagnosis. You had to rule out POTS first, and they didn't rule out POTS first.
Now, to be fair, she didn't really know about POTS.
No, she didn't.
She didn't know about POTS.
Then there should have been, okay.
I mean, I don't think she even knew to look into it.
But because she took the diagnosis of inappropriate sinus attack from from just a suggestion from the ER.
Right.
The next thing you do is you're supposed to research further, and then you're supposed to rule out. So that's why it's so important to go and rule out these other things, because there are plenty of medical conditions and other conditions that are rule out diagnoses. There's plenty of conditions that share symptoms. So if you go and just either look up on Wikipedia or even flip through the DSM and go like, oh, that looks like me.
Well, I look
you
through,
could be wrong.
I looked through stuff for Davina's with autism, and she fits pervasive developmental disorder too. You know, it's just there's,
And sometimes you can share multiple conditions. So people who self-diagnose, please get yourself actually diagnosed, because you could be missing something.
you can point the doctor in the right direction. Or
You
or
can say, I think it's this, and then they can go and say, well, yeah, I think you're right. Let's
look at this.
Let's look at this. Or you might find that, I'm sorry, you don't have anything at all. You might have certain tendencies, but you don't meet enough of the criteria. Right now, there's just so many people who are declaring themselves something online, and they're not.
Not officially yet.
They're not officially yet.
They might be, but they're not yet.
I don't think it's nearly as prevalent.
We don't want to give the impression that we're calling people online liars. What we're saying is they need to get a definitive answer for their own good.
Yeah, for their own good, yeah. Now, I do think there are definitely people who...
No. We will have the Christian attitude.
So... but that is your bit of... I just thought it was interesting that is a conversation that was going on online just yesterday.
And I forgot to bring... We got the newest gluten-free cookbook that... It's not a cookbook, it's a magazine. And they have an article or two on autism, don't they?
I think you said one, but I didn't flip through.
I think one was on autism and one was on inflammation. So one hits my stuff and one hits Davina's stuff.
Well, usually it's not uncommon for that magazine to have something about inflammation.
Yeah, so it's you may hear something about that later. I didn't have a chance to read it, and I forgot.
So it worked out that I had this other conversation to discuss. So
right, I'm sorry, I'm not playing on my phone. My Kindle didn't want to
connect to the internet,
so I have to do my stuff off my phone, and my phone decided to
turn itself off.
Go dark. So, all right. I'm not going to go through all the stuff for the autism awareness because she yammered, and so it's all in a thread.
Yeah, and it's mostly important for people who are going to take part, and it's good to actually do some awareness every once in a while.
Yeah. The only thing I'm going to say though, so you know where to post on, because some of the people may want to look at the stuff on Instagram. It's let me see what's this #PHN Autism Awareness, which is AA 2024. So it's #PHN. AA 2024, and that's on YouTube, and I think not YouTube, internet, Instagram.
Yes.
And Ty is, I don't know where our channel is on the Instagram.
There's something on the bottom in the description box. I have the name of our Instagram. I think it's just Penhook and Needles podcast.
Yeah. So that's that. And somebody asked about the fact they knew about Laura and Talia and my stuff, Lady Freckle Creations, Franciscan Gypsy Designs, Lollipop Girl Creations, I think. That, but for the autism awareness, will you watch that, please?
Sorry.
The Braid It Bright by 10 Hours or Less, who is George.
If you can still get it, because I didn't see it.
Yeah, but if they have it.
Yeah, if you already have it, because I don't think he sells it.
Because we still have people who have that pattern.
Yeah.
And then there was the Weighted Lapgan and Teddy Bear, which is by A Modest Creation. That's on Etsy. And then I forgot to put it in my notes here, but Bakery Bears, anything bright colored. We tend to like to
you were talking about
friends.
crystals.
Oh, crystal, that's the one I forgot. Chronically Crocheting. Yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer. Like Laura, she's kind of a no-brainer, so yeah.
Although you haven't really gotten around to adding her to a lot of things yet.
No, well, she's mostly... For me, my mind is always like toys and autism awareness, but she does have other things, so I probably should just add her. The other thing that we have, and this is the one that's gone going all year. We're in the second quarter, and that's the Anything Goes make along. And the rules are basically the same for both alongs. They're all in the groups. We have added paper crafts to the knitting, crocheting, loom knitting, and weaving. So it's all in there what you're allowed to do. If you want to take part in these alongs and you don't know how to do it because you're not part of the group, please feel free to hit the little link that takes you to our homepage. Just ask to be let in and you will be let in. We just want to make sure you're not a bot, okay? And that's just Anything Goes, is just exactly what we said. Everything goes within those parameters in the group, whereas the autism awareness has to be bright colored. Okay, so that takes care of those. I'm trying to see what I got here. You have to bear with me, please. Thank you, because it takes me longer to get to where I'm going because I'm not used to working on such a small space. All right, let's see here.
And she has several projects that, whereas I just have
By
one.
several, she means 4. I have.
Well,
I go
I mean,
twice.
Several can be 4.
Isn't that few? I think so.
No, few's 3.
Few is 3.
I usually think it's several is 4 and up.
I don't know. I have to check and see what they say.
I mean, it's very it's very generalized.
It is.
All
right. In my Knitter's Magic, was my local yarn shop. She has a person who makes these bags, and they're really well made. And I have in here my Cherry Bomb shawl from the Scrap Shawl pattern by Anastasia Zattel. And I think this is this the one that I have the thing that Christina gave me? No, I must have had that in the other one. Oh no, here it is. This is my bag. This is a Christina Mama C bag that she made for my hook because I'm always losing my hook. And so she makes me things to put my hooks in, and then I just have to remember where I put the bag because. Okay, so anyway, so I added another color here, which is the only reason I'm showing this because there's only one row. Can you see that?
Yeah, I think I can see that.
Maybe if I do it this way, you'll see it better. You can see this a little bit.
Yeah, I think I can see that. It's starting to come in.
It doesn't have as much brown in it as the other one did. This is the skein. And I think this is a Miss Babs.
This looks like Miss Babs. Wait, which one? No, it's not Miss Babs, I don't think. I don't know who that is.
I don't know what this is. It doesn't quite feel like it.
That might be one that I just got somewhere,
I don't know.
Because I had some red yarns that I wasn't sure what they were.
I mean, it could have been, almost anywhere. For a while, we were buying a whole bunch of yarn. I can't remember the last time I bought yarn for myself because I'm not really using it. All right. I guess I did it when I wanted to do the blanket.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay, and the other one, for my second one, okay. This is also a scrap shawl. This is the other one I'm doing for Talia. And it's the Squash Blossom. I'm not very much further on this one than I was before. This is Chronically Crocheting bag, the llamas that she made for me. And inside of that is a cardinal bag by Knitting's My Bag. She's not doing bags anymore.
Yeah, it hasn't been for years.
So
She was really popular when we came up.
yeah, that's why we had so many of them. I don't have as many now as I do Silver Shed, but so this one's making progress. I'm almost ready to change colors again because I think I decided that I was just going to do a thinner stripe of this multicolor and basically have the Squash Blossom. Can you see that? Why does it look so orange?
Squash Blossom can look orange on this small screen.
So I did, I did a little crocheting, but I wanted to do other things. I did use my time for reading and doing some other things that you'll be able to see later on. But that's all I have to say about this. Oh, did I lose my stitch? Where is it?
So then I guess I go and then you do your last two?
I just gotta find where my thing is. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay, good. So I'm actually in the middle of binding off this this log that I've been working on for like the past few weeks. Yeah, not a whole lot to say about that. This is my Courtyard Steps blanket, and I just pick it up when I want something simple to knit.
Mhm.
But once I finish binding off, then I'm going to have to pick up stitches again, so.
You know, at least you only have to do it once, and then you can just knit for a while.
Yeah, exactly. It's more that hopefully I won't get done in the middle because I don't have my locking stitch markers with me. I mean, it's not a huge deal. What I can do later is add them every 10 and see if I have enough.
Oh, right. So you have a certain stitch count?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because remember, it's supposed to get bigger each time. You're supposed to have more stitches.
Mhm.
So it is a specific. Keeps it from like rippling weirdly.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure that you could eyeball it and be fine, but just for my own preference, I have a count.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
But
All right, let me just...
and this is mostly kind of a recipe slash I can't remember what the other thing I was going to say.
I don't know. You didn't tell me.
Kind of took inspiration from another pattern, a pillow pattern. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to put this yarn in some kind of a little ball so it doesn't get knitted up by mistake or crocheted up by mistake, which I've done on multiple occasions. It's not so bad when I'm crocheting, but when I'm knitting, it's a kind of a pain in the neck.
right. Is it just an extra ball or is it
It's hanging off. It's a
tail?
tail, yep.
Why don't you cut the excess?
I might later. But can't be bothered with such things right now.
Because that's a lot of excess.
I think I didn't for... I had a reason. I don't remember what it was. That's too long ago.
Because not like you're going to need it later for seaming.
Yeah. Expression Fiber Arts has a couple of really cute patterns on her website for sweaters. For crochet and knit. All right, in my Silver Shed USA 10-year anniversary bag, I think this is the large.
I think you're right. Because
think.
wait, no, that's the extra. Because I have one that's in. I have one this side. I have one a little smaller, and the one a little smaller is a large. Wait, medium?
Did I get you a small one, or did I get you?
You didn't give me a small.
I mean, not a small, but a small. It's a. I cannot remember Anne's sizing. I always have to. Like, I see the double X's are down there.
I have one smaller than this.
I have double X's down there and I have X's down there. This could be an extra large.
Or if it's a large, my other one's a medium.
It could be.
I can't. Yeah, I can't.
So anyway, whatever size this is, it's our 10-year anniversary bag. It's hard to believe. I think we're on 12 now, aren't we?
Something like that. Wait. When did I say we started? I know it was May 15th, and it was like. I want to say it was like 2013, 2014,
Yeah, that's about
something
right.
like that.
2013 is when I had my first episodes in there. So
So then it was probably closer to, depending on when you started, how far along it was. Well, you started at the end, toward the end of the year. So
I started at the end of the year?
I was trying to figure out. I didn't have a full year when you joined.
No, 7 episodes in. I joined in episode
Yeah.
7.
So if that's when you first.
So
started.
I started in like May 15th to.
So
It
2013.
was like July or something. I started.
2013 makes sense then.
This is my little boy blue baby blanket, and there's no pattern. It's basically just double crochet because I wanted to give my hands a rest from the Sorabelle.
So we're actually on 11 then. If we start 2013 instead of 2012,
Yep. Okay, I don't.
which I'm not absolutely convinced we might have done 2012.
Yeah, I might not have all the notes.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's moving along. It is all double crochet because I wanted to just do something simple and maybe finish quickly. I didn't do a whole lot of work on this, but I did some. There's a row in here, a couple of rows in here of single crochet, but you can't really tell that I switched.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to worry about it. It's just
You just want something simple.
Yeah, I don't want to worry about, where I'm at in terms of what stitch, and
You just want to enjoy the yarn.
I just want to, the yarn does all the work to make it pretty. I don't need to do anything extra.
Well, what makes me think of is I picked up for a while a German yarn that I use consistently for the Zuzu's petals. And it's...
With a zebra ball?
No, not a Zauberball. I can't remember what it was called. But it would do all the work. It would have shades of whatever it happened to be. Some of it was quite dramatic, but others was like, there's a really pretty green one that I made that it goes from like sort of a medium light down to a really deep, rich green, and it worked very nicely for the zuzus because you would see the gradation of colors down the flowers. So
That's very pretty.
there are just some yarns that they do the work for you and you don't need to do. That's why some socks need to be plain.
Right. Otherwise you mess up the pattern and the color of the socks.
Well, that's why, honestly, a lot of times with West Yorkshire spinners, you don't want a lot going on in the sock pattern. You need to let the yarn do the work, at least if you're doing their bird colorways or anything like that.
Okay. And so this is ice yarn, and it's a worsted weight, and this is another one that's fuzzy, but I'm having fun with it. Soft, and I just work on it a little at a time as my hand allows. Sometimes my thumb is bothering me with this weather, so I have to be a little careful. We don't have any weather today, but
Did we ever get the thunderstorm yesterday?
No.
We'll
It looked like it was going to rain. Like we got home from the walk, and it looked like the clouds were coming in from the mountains over there, but.
We'll have to see if it decides that today's the day.
So you can see the way the color is playing out on this. It looks almost like it's pooling more than it actually is. It's not pooling. It's just kind of I guess a gentle stripe maybe.
Yeah.
And not necessarily full stripes. It just. All right, so that takes care of that one.
And I don't have any more to show.
I have one more. This one I haven't done in a while. I was going to take it out and start my scrap blanket with it. And then I just decided I'm just going to continue with it. So this is Taya's migraine blanket in here, her pattern, and I'm calling it Not Easy Being Green. And I think I'm doing the Afghan size. It's not an Afghan, I think you call it the crib size in your thing.
Yeah, it might be.
And this is just going to be shades of green. And I'm in the middle here, so I can't really open it up for you, but you can see that I'm still on the border of the bottom there.
Yeah.
Bottom border. So I'm just knitting, just basic stitches.
Garter
stitches, yeah. So after I'm finished with that, I will be able to pay a little more attention to see what it is I have to be doing in between the garter borders. I think.
And that one doesn't have any garter borders, like it has the actual border around it. But this one is the one with that center that's garter. So once you get to the point where you're past the bottom part, you'll have garter for the edge here. You'll have your set of stitches where you'll put the stitch markers on either side. So that'll be garter, and then you have the other end, which is garter.
So you do pearls, knit and pearls in there, in the middle?
Yeah, depending on what side you're on.
So I might mark one side and remember which one is the knit and which one's the pearl. Like mark the one that's knit.
Right.
And then when I turn it over, I know, okay, that's pearl.
Right.
And then knowing that it's knit where those markers are, make it real easy. It's fun. It's mindless, and I can sit there and just, except when I don't finish a stitch and have to have Taya fix it for me.
Right.
So, I did that. That's why I stopped it last time, because
it got fixed.
Yeah. Because when I tried to fix it myself, I messed it up, and then I had to start all over again, and I wouldn't do it because casting on that many stitches is not fun.
Okay, so then that. Usually we do yarn before paper crafts.
Okay, let me just. Not for the shop, though.
Okay.
Right? Because that's shopping, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right, because it isn't just something you're dyeing for yourself. Because we used to be, if it was something you dyed for yourself, we've been inconsistent about how we've done that.
Yeah. Well, especially since we kind of just changed around a little bit.
Yeah, let me take a drink.
I'm trying to. Yes, shopping design is after everything here.
When we're consistent about it.
Yeah.
But a lot of what I've done this time has been the journaling. I have finished all my Agatha Christie entries for the Christie's Missing Readathon from last year. I think I'd already shown everything for Ordeal by Innocence. I can't remember if I showed cards on the table.
I'm watching that one
No.
now.
Yeah, I remember you said that there was a lot changed,
lot
which is
changed in that,
ridiculous. So, all the different covers, some of them quite odd for this.
I do like the way they portrayed Shitana on there.
Mm-hmm. I actually think I had this cover when I had the physical form of the Moving Finger. Or at least saw that cover frequently. I started doing a lot more of the fussy cutting in order to get more covers in. It challenged me to be a little bit more creative to get in as many covers as I could. And when I get the option, I like to have it in there, somewhere, the alternate cover, the alternate title. So like, for once, one of the alternate titles came up for a book. The title that seems to be the most well known is 450 from Paddington. It's a Miss Marple. But the other title is What Mrs. McGillicuddy Saw. Yes, I got it right the first time. I have a feeling they changed it because no one can pronounce Mrs. McGillicuddy. Usually pretty... When I look at it, I always stumble over Mrs. McGillicuddy.
Why?
I don't know, every single time. Except now.
I've never seen it spelled, so...
Yeah. So I'm sure that's part of the reason is 450 from Paddington is a lot easier of a title. But I do have the one cover that says what Mrs. McGillicuddy saw, and then all the others, if they have the title on there, it's 450 from Paddington. This one was kind of a fun one that I was like less dramatic enough to be there. I was able to use my Snigglesloth Shocked Hamster
Snigglesloth
stamp, and actually what happened is I did it in light green at first, and then I didn't like the fact that it didn't show up very well, so I got a darker green ink and stamped it just a little bit off, so it looked like when she sees the person being strangled in the car next to her, she's scared out of her body. So that I was able to make that work. Then Death in the Clouds is my last one. And the alternate title for that is Death in the Air. The cover is kind of odd for it because it really doesn't fit. I'm not sure if you could see it very well, but it has a snake wrapped around like a bottle, and that has absolutely nothing to do with the book. But it had the alternate title, so I
think that was
wanted
from
it in there.
Poison. They were talking about the poison came from a snake.
Oh, you're right. Mm-hmm. No, you're right. Okay, now I remember. Mm-hmm, so that makes sense. But we have the blowpipe. I almost used this as the cutout to be for the Holy and Library card, but instead I decided to go with this one. But I still wanted my my one where he's using the blowpipe. And then I had, you can see a little bit more of the fussy cutting where I got the cup with the 2 spoons on it and the bee lying dead in the cup. And then...
It's a wasp.
You're right, it was a wasp. And then here I did a little bit of fussy cutting where she's looking through the compact. I feel like I've seen this cover a lot, and then I saw another cover a lot that I chose not to use. Oh, I also chose to have on the actual library catalog card, I put in the matchbox where the wasp was held,
right,
and then the dead wasp. And if you peek at the dead wasp, it says underneath of it, a classic Hercule Poirot mystery. So, that was fun. And next, to end this up, I am doing my first non-Agatha Christie in a while, which is The Scarlet and the Black.
Oh, you finished it?
Oh, I finished this a long time ago.
Once I finish the other stuff, I can go back to that.
So, this, I've already got some of my fussy cutting out. I just need to organize and see, where I want stuff. And if I'm not even sure I'll use all of it, but got this cut out like that, if I might use that. I haven't decided yet what size of the cover I'll use. So I've got 2 different sizes cut out. And then I won't use all of this version of the stamp, but I have a bunch of Pope Pius the 12th. 12th? Yeah, 12th. Stamps that I picked up. So that could go in there as well. And I have a couple of other Vatican stamps.
Cool.
And I've been like saving these stamps specifically for a couple of these stamps for this book. Even though I do plan on reading it at some point, maybe even this year, reading it again, The Myth of Hitler's Pope. I read it in high school. And it's as part of a report, as well as other books that were, one was not antagonistic, was against him. That's not, I can't remember what not antagonistic, I guess that's...
I know what you're talking about, though.
But regardless, it wasn't favorable. But yeah, I'll be putting this together. Put this in here so I don't lose it. But one thing that... I feel like every time I do one of these lists, these spreads, I learn a little bit something new or figure out a little bit something different. And I feel like the thing that the Agatha Christie spreads taught me, because I want to get as many covers in as possible, is how to think a little bit outside the box to use different pictures. So that I did a lot of journaling this time around.
Seems like. Okay.
Yeah, my booktube, my bookstagram account kind of exploded with posts the past couple weeks.
Okay. That leads us to, we have no FOs.
So it's shop and then enhancements.
I have 2 yarns that are ready to go in the shop. Just the 2 DK yarns, different colorways. And I have 2 hanging downstairs and 2 need to be rinsed. Also 2 different colorways and DK. I hope to dye some yarn today and tomorrow, just to kind of get my shop back into the swing of things a little bit. These 2 are the ones I told you, they're a little dark, but I was trying to get rid of dye from dye stock, so I just kind of threw things together to see what I came up with. And this is the one I was telling you about that I think I showed it to you before I rescanned it. I'm not sure if I showed it to you again, but you're going to see it. It's called Black Hole. And if you look at it carefully, it looks like it's pure black, but if you look at it carefully, you can see what looks like maybe a very... It's not as vibrant of the rest of the colors. It's kind of a blue, gray, purple.
Where it might have broke?
Yeah. Or it looks like if you had partially exhausted water or something. So it's not the full black. It allows some of the other colors that I used in here to show up a little bit. But I don't think you can see it on the camera. It's kind of subtle. You can see it if you're looking at it in the light. But there, I think you can see it there.
Yeah, I might be able to pick up a bit.
If you look on this side, on the bottom there, you can see some of the lighter yarn there. So this is a DK weight. I can do this again if somebody wants it, but right now I only have 1. And anytime I do this particular method, well, anytime I do any kind of hand dyeing, but especially this kind of a method, the yarns could be anything from real close to radically different because of the method. So just so you know that, you might have to use something like this, alternating skeins or something, because it could be, not necessarily, but could be radically different for that method. The other one is butterscotch, and Talia and I spent forever trying to figure out the name for this yarn, but this is butterscotch. It has been reskeined. It's a DK weight yarn. And again, this is the same method as the black one, so it might be a little bit different than what you're seeing, but this yarn I think breaks pretty consistently this colorway, and it's called butterscotch. And I only have 1 of it. It is a DK weight, but I can make it again provided I can find the recipe again.
Right.
So I've been wanting to dye yarn. I have written down the recipes, but not had a chance to put in my
You really need to start carrying the notebook in.
Well, I don't. It's not a notebook I carry. I just write it down because I don't carry a notebook. I just carry paper.
Well, my point is maybe carry a small notebook in the apron used for dyeing so you can actually write some of these things down.
I did write it down.
Yes, but on something you won't lose.
If it's not in my computer, I have it every faith in my being able to lose it. I lost my phone today, and I have a place
That's
to put it.
because you didn't put it where it belongs.
Yes, I was using it, and it fell off my lap. So these are the 2 DKs I have right now. And I have, as I said, 2 downstairs that are completely different colorway, and another 2 down in here that are needing to be rinsed out and hung up that are another different colorway. And so I'm experimenting with different things now. So I'm hoping that you'll like what you see in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope to be able to dye some yarn for the foreseeable future, but we'll see how that works. That's one of the reasons why I didn't do as much as I could have done maybe with other things like journaling and stuff like that. And I've been reading a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Just reading a lot, and I wanted to. I'm getting the itch to write again, so I don't know what you're going to see coming up in the next few podcasts, because if I start writing, a lot of things go by the wayside.
Yes.
But that's all I have to say about that. And I guess we have royalties.
Right.
Find my box. It's a big old box over here.
While you're getting that, I'll just show the tea. So, I saw that Tea Spot was having a breakfast tea sale, and Mom's been borrowing my English breakfast. So I was like, oh, I should look and see.
Borrow it, I use it.
Yeah, use my English breakfast. So I was like, oh, I should get some English breakfast. And when I went there, and I applied my points, this isn't even for the sale, I applied my points, it made my tea free. All I had to pay was shipping. So
$4 tea.
yeah, $4.99, $4, something like that. So not bad. Yeah, exactly. So, and I already have other of it.
Now this looks like a lot, and I guess it is.
Oh, I forgot to give you. They sent me a sample of Boulder breakfast. I already have some, so I'm giving her the pyramid bag.
Is this a decaffeinated?
It's caffeinated.
Okay. Davina gave me for what did she give it to me? For Easter?
It was Easter.
An Adagio card. And so I waited till I had to restash some of the things that I'm kind of running low on. If I waited a little longer, I could have done another one as well. But
right.
The one I'm doing today is getting low, but I'll wait till my next order for that. She bought part of the sugar, because the sugar can be expensive because we get the largest size and we do it together. So she paid for the majority of the sugar, and then I got another one of these little tins, because they're taking them off. They're not going to be carrying them anymore. So I got this one. I wanted to get the blue one, but they didn't have it anymore. And then I got there's the sugar. I got my blends, Spotamont chocolate and South of the Border. These are my blends. And then I got 111th birthday that Davina got me for my birthday last year, I think it was, or Talia got it for me for her birthday, and I really liked it, so I picked some up. I had it again because I still had the tin, and I really liked it, so I got more of it. And then, of course, the ever-present The Little Gray Cells.
Yeah.
And then because, and the last tea I got was Cocoa Mint, which I've been meaning to try forever. I have the tin, and I tried it, and I couldn't stop drinking it. So this is what I think I like chocolate mint teas. Mm-hmm. So that, and then of course,
I have another chocolate mint tea. It's a breakfast tea that from Tea Spot that I can let you try.
Okay. And then I got, because I already have one of these, I did not buy this. It came free. I have yarn that is open but would not stay in the bag, so I stuffed the yarn that's in there. Is one of my suppliers that doesn't put the ball bands on it, so I put the description in the bag with the yarn. It's one of these bags. It's an Adagio bag. This is a really nice canvas bag. I already have one.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, normally I would just say, okay, I take it off.
Right.
Well, I said, Ty liked it, so Ty's going to have this one.
Thank you.
And then I did take this tee off. It's called Earthkeeper. And last time I took it off too, but actually no, I didn't. I kept it, but I think it went out as a prize. I wasn't sure how I felt about what was in it. Not that it's not a good tea, it's just maybe not my flavor profile. I took it off, but apparently it didn't get taken off, or they just ignored it by mistake. And I got this. It's called Earthkeeper tea. And I don't know what's in here. I can't really read this. I'm not sure it says what's in here.
Let's see. Special blend. No, it doesn't say.
So, I try not to just buy things on Adagio because it could get costly, but
I have other areas where I just buy things. I don't need Adagio to help me out.
I do. I mean, this is probably my weak point, is this and places that sell my religious books and then journal stuff. But I tried to be really good for this, but I needed to replenish, and I got a card, so I did.
Yes.
Did that. That's all I have there.
Okay, I have one last thing.
You do?
Yep. Hold on, let me do this.
Okay. I thought you said you didn't have any more. Oh, okay. That came in today. What is this?
The only way you can see is by pulling it out.
Are they cards?
Nope.
We're going to put this back in. Ooh.
So, what this is, they're very hard to get. It's a MacGyver comic.
Oh my gosh.
It's a 5-part. You can't get it anymore. It was very hard to find for anything like a decent
You
price.
should have saved that for Mother's Day.
I love things for Mother's Day. Because you're not the one who's going to be reading this. So, it's a 5-part series, MacGyver comic book.
Look at that. She's expecting me to take this out. It's in pristine condition.
Well, yeah, they said like new. So they didn't. I could not get the full one together. It was just too expensive.
Oh no, I understand.
Because, like I said, they don't. It's out of print. They don't make it anymore.
I love MacGyver.
So it came up. I have a YouTube channel I watched that goes over like popular things during like I think it's like 80s, around 80s time period, and they were talking about MacGyver, and towards the end they mentioned this comic book, so I went looking for it.
Do this.
And yeah,
I looked at this really quick. I thought, oh, it's by Zoltov Lee and Slimy.
the name is Slimy.
It's Slimy. Your eyes just. Thank you, Taya.
You're welcome. So, because I was gonna save it just for Mother's Day, but it came in at just the perfect time period.
Yeah, but you should save it for Mother's Day.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's nice. MacGyver doesn't like guns, but he does like explosions.
Yes.
Fertilizer bombs.
And
And he can get out of anything.
I don't know why they weren't able to continue it for whatever reason. You
Maybe
know,
copyright issues or something.
well, they were the ones who put it out, from what I understand.
Who?
Like whoever was in charge of MacGyver. This wasn't like
okay.
just some random.
Okay.
Like it was connected.
I'm kind of surprised they made him a redhead. Richard Dean Anderson's not redhead. He looks less red
I think it's just the coloring here because
this one looks red too. But this one doesn't.
you know something I've noticed, and I noticed this with the X-Men comics as well. Depending on who the colorist is, the browns could kind of look like reds because that happens with Gambit as well.
3 out of 5 look like they're redheads, and the other
Now,
2.
you can argue sometimes, like for this one here, you can argue he's next to Flame,
Right, but he's not here.
but he's not there. So I think it depends on the colorist a lot of times.
I find it interesting. Looks like he's holding onto a cargo thing at the bottom of a plane.
Yeah.
Net. This is really cool.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't know such a thing existed
No,
until.
neither did I. And that's not Pete.
Oh, I'm sure it's not. He's fighting whoever it
He's
is.
fighting whoever it is.
It's whoever the villain is there. So.
It almost looks like that guy, except that he was never fighting him like that, who always used to get the twitch when he was lying.
Yeah, I remember you talking about him. I think I only saw because I've never seen the full series.
Well, he's a a recurring character. He comes in a lot. He had a few that would come in over and over again that weren't like his friend Pete. This guy came in probably the most after Pete, and then the little girl who played in Blossom and all that, Ma'am, whatever her name is, she used to come in fairly often. Not as much as this guy did, but enough that she was.
Well, I need to rewatch the video that was on this show because every once in a while the guy will slip and use a little bit of language, but he usually doesn't, so I need to listen to it, make sure it's mom appropriate. And then once I'm sure it's mom appropriate, I can share it with you. But one of the things they were mentioning is that they had an idea of what they wanted. They wanted kind of like an everyman. They didn't want your typical, like, tough guy type. So they went through a bunch of people, and when Richard Dean Anderson came up, they knew they had their guy because he was just like a regular.
Except he was good looking.
But it wasn't like.
I always liked Richard Dean Anderson.
He wasn't like out of this world good looking.
No, but he got his start as a doctor on General Hospital.
But
and
he
was one of those meant to be good looking guys, and he was good looking. But he wasn't like I don't know, someone who's like not Brad Pitt or something.
Right, you could imagine. I decided to keep the tape down and up anyway because if you pull it out, then the comic doesn't get affected. But so they picked him for that reason. It was actually his idea not to have the part of. He was a big proponent for not having the guns in there.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's an episode. I remember seeing the episode where they talk about why MacGyver doesn't like guns because of a childhood incident. Apparently, it was based a little bit off of an experience that Richard D. Anderson had as a kid, and it wasn't quite as dramatic, but there was an incident.
It's interesting because even though he likes guns in Stargate, the premise for his character is that his son died while playing with his firearm.
Yes, and the interesting thing is that was the premise before Richard D. Anderson got involved. That was the premise back in Kurt Russell. So it wasn't even like you could argue that Richard D. Anderson added that to the character. No, that pre-existed in the character.
It was just interesting that he well, I like Richard Dean Anderson anyway, if you couldn't tell. So I like him as an actor. He's good.
But yeah, so this was something that once I saw that it existed, I knew that Mom had to have it, but also that Mom needed to share the experience with me. She doesn't get to just read the comic.
Yes, you read it first because I'm not there yet. I'm not finished what I'm reading yet.
Okay. We'll have to put it somewhere where we can both access it. Or
not in the bathroom.
Not in the bathroom, no. We might have it even stay in the box and keep it in a special place in here.
Where?
That's true.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, where you and I can access it. But yeah, like I said, I saw it, and part of why I didn't save it for your Mother's Day is it's for you, but it's also for me.
So it's not really mine.
Well, it is yours.
It's ours.
Yes.
It's ours.
Yours, mine, and ours.
Yes, mine. So that's that. Okay, so that takes care of that. Oh, we do have a Zoom on Friday.
Yes.
This month we have 2 Zooms for our Patreon.
Because we pushed it back last week.
Yeah, because we had things going on that we couldn't.
It was scheduling.
It was a scheduling thing. So we have a Zoom at the normal time, and Ty will make sure that the invitation goes out, or maybe she has already done that.
It's all been set up.
So we hope to see our Patreons there.
They actually probably should have already gotten the first notification because they get it at the beginning of the week.
And just keep an eye on my shop. If you are interested in my yarn, I hope to get at least these 2 up relatively soon. I hope to have more yarn coming in a little more consistently, at least for the foreseeable future, hopefully, unless something comes up, which could be any number of things, but I'll do my best to get things more consistent in the shop. We do want, and I thank the people who are being patient with me. I have one person in mind specifically. Thank you very much for being so patient. She always is. She spoils me, and I love her for it. She's terrific. The people that we wanted to thank, as far as I knew last time I looked, want to thank Meditative Crafter, Wendy, who is MacGyver, not that MacGyver, but MacGyver, Paula, Kara, and M's Crafted Chat. We haven't seen M in a while, so we're glad to see her. We are thankful to all the people who have commented, whether we've seen them or not. And I did get to everybody just before we podcasted to say thank you and to comment a little bit on there. So we're really appreciative of your comments.
Yes, thank you.
Even when we don't have a chance to comment back like we would like to. So please do continue to comment. We appreciate that. And I guess that's all we have to say about that until next week. So thank you for joining us for the Fun in the Woman Cave. We hope to see you again next week. We wish you a week full of whatever it is that makes you happy. And this is the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast. I think it said it was 598.
Yeah, we're getting really
Episodes.
close.
Yeah, we've got 2 more to go. Got 1 more before 600. 598. And I can't find my clapper, but I'm working on it. 598.
Is it done?
And that's a wrap.
Bye.
Bye.